Hey everybody, welcome to Never Alone Homestead. My name is Cammie and welcome back to my kitchen. Today, guys, I have been canning pears. I've actually got 7 pints and 5 quarts. These pears came from a tree not far from my house, and actually someone was advertising on Facebook about, free pears, come and get them. And I had just been thinking, you know what? I want to can some pears. I wish I could find a pear tree since I don't have a pear tree at my place now that where I live at now. And then I went on Facebook marketing and this guy was advertising for pears like 7 minutes from my house. It was a suddenly. Isn't it just like God to do a suddenly in your life? You get this thought and then bam, it's right there before you. Well, guys, we're into the kitchen and I got a very easy recipe of canning pears. Now, I'm going to be using light syrup today, but you can make a heavy syrup, a extra light syrup, a medium syrup. And so I have my recipe right here because I've learned to print off my recipes for the fact that the internet goes down, or all these recipes start running together. It's kind of hard to be sure. You got to be sure when it comes to canning. So today, guys, like I said, I'm going to be doing a light syrup, which is 6 cups of water and 2 cups of sugar. But you can go extra light if you like, and that will be 10 cups of water and 2 cups of sugar. Or you can go a medium syrup, will be 3 cups of sugar and 6 cups of water, which will give you about 6.5 cups of syrup. Or you can go a heavy syrup. Some people just like that heavy, thick syrup when it comes to their fruits when it comes to canning. And the heavy syrup is 4 cups of sugar and 6 cups of water, which gives you 7 cups of sugar. So guys, I've already got my pears peeled, and what you do is that when I got these pears off the tree, I took my pears and I put them in the refrigerator for 2 days. Now I actually got like 2.5 buckets of pears, and I put them in the refrigerator for 2 days. This is saying it would help speed up the process of them ripening up. And then I left them out of the refrigerator for about 3 days, actually up to 5 days. But what you're looking for is that the top, and I don't have a pear now, but you look for the top, that's kind of at the top, it's starting to soften up. You want your pears to be softened. You don't want them rotten, you don't want them mushy, but you do want them to soften up. When they soften up, they become very easy to peel. Now, old farmers tale, it's been said, and I did it one time, is that you can take pears that you pick from the tree and get your water boiling and drop them in there and then take them right back out, and the peelings will come off like you would tomatoes, like blanching. And I did that. I haven't only did it one time, and it worked pretty good. But if you take and wait and just wait it out, your pears will ripen up. And so these have ripened up, and then it was very easy to peel. And then you make sure you get all the rottenness off, all the bad spots, and get the core. You don't want the core. You just want to peel your pear and then cut it up into pieces like I have right here. And so also within this water, you'll have your water, your bowl, your pot, your water, but you also want to put at least a half a cup of lemon juice into the water. Or you can put the citric acid. Half a cup of lemon juice or 1/3 cup of citric acid to about a gallon of water. Now, within this, mixing this up and getting this together, you don't have to be specific. If you went over just a little bit of lemon juice, it's not going to hurt anything. And the same with this right here, the citric acid. The point of these two products is to stop the browning of your fruit. So you will get your water, you will put the measurements in there, and as you're peeling and cutting your fruit, then you just put it in the water and it preserves it until the process of canning. So now, guys, we're at the place. Once you do that, you are getting to the place of canning. Now I'm going to take you to my stove that is ready just about ready to get these pears into the pot. Okay, so here we are. Back here, I have hot jars. Now, within the pears, you don't want to cold pack. You don't want to cold pack. It's just not good to cold pack. But you want to hot pack. Everything is going to be hot. You're going to have hot jars, hot syrup. Your fruit is going to be into your syrup, so it's going to be hot. Everything's going to be hot. Which the jars are back here. They've already been washed, and they're back here. They've been sterilized in the dishwasher, but they're also still sterilizing here. Inside here, I've also have put my rings in my lids. Now, Ball says you don't have to do this anymore, and I've done it both ways, not putting them in there. But I got my jars here. I kind of like it like this. Everything's right there. I don't have to sit there and get it all scattered out. It's all in one place. It makes it easy. To me, it's sterilizing. The lids and jars are hot, and it just works for me. So back here, I got my jars ready. This right here, what you're gonna do once you got your pears sitting in your bowl or your pot, and they're waiting for to be canned. What you do is now you got your pot, and you will put your 6 cups of water, or whatever measurements, whether it's 10 cups of water. Let's go back over that. Or 3 cups. Okay, 3 cups of sugar and 6 cups of water, or 4 cups of sugar and 6 cups of water. Or you can go. Let's see, or you can go. Let's see if I get that right. Okay, let me start over again. So you're going to make sure I said this right. Okay, so because I'm going light. So mine has got 6 cups of water and 2 cups of sugar. Or you can go 10 cups of water and 2 cups of sugar. Or you can go to medium syrup, which will be 3 cups and 3 cups of sugar and 6 cups of water. Or 4 cups of sugar and 6 cups of water. Kind of gets a little tongue twister there. So you put your water in there. You want to get this to a boil. Now, the best way to do it when it starts heating up is to go ahead and you're going to take your sugar, which will be 2 cups. Say this is 2 cups, and now it's getting hot. I'm going to go ahead and put my sugar in there slowly and gradually, and also be stirring it. Now, for time's sake, my water's is already in here, and plus my sugar. Now, since I've been canning all day, canning pears today, when my last batch of syrup, it was not used all of it into the pears. And so what I do, and I don't throw it away, I just make another batch and put it in there with the already syrup from the previous canning, which, because the pears have been in there from the previous canning, some of the juice is in there, and to me it makes a better syrup. So what I'm saying is, if you're canning, every time you start another batch, you don't have to throw away that syrup. You just go ahead and fix up another, say for example, 2 cups of sugar, 6 cups of water. Go ahead and put it in the previous syrup and just mix it up. So here we got, once again, 6 cups of water with the previous syrup, but 6 cups of water and the sugar in there. And as you can probably see now, is that this is starting to steam. It's starting to get hot, and so I'm going to turn it up. And so I want it to get to a boil. Once it gets to a boil, I'm going to take these pears and I'm going to start gradually putting them in this pot. Now, I already got my funnel here. I've got my jar lifter here. I've got this tool right here. It's got a magnet in it. It's going to reach down there in this hot water, get my jars and lids off. I also got this, which is once we put our pears in there, we want to debubble. So we just kind of, it also moves your pears around, so it makes sure the adequate space, and once you start doing it, you'll start seeing air bubbles come up. So once you put your pears in a jar, and you're going to take and wipe your lid off with vinegar and water to get off any sugar, or say if you're doing some other kind of canning food particles, then you're going to put your lids on, and then it will go into the boiling canner for 20 minutes for pints and 25 minutes for quarts. I know that's a lot being said, but like I said, just your pears will be softened. You peel them, and also while I'm thinking about it, those peelings. Okay, this is the last batch of peelings here. Now I'm not going to do it, but you can take these and start and use these peelings and put them in water. And I don't have the recipe for that, but you can take these peelings and actually make jelly. It will produce it'll produce the juice, and you can make jelly from there. So you will have your own natural 100% organic juice. Okay, so guys, this is starting to come to a boil, which is what we want. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, because I didn't want, to have it too high, and I'm, talking, and it's ready for me to put these pears in here. But it's just about there. And so now you want to keep these in the water until you're ready to put them in the pot, because you don't want them to brown, even though they've got the lemon juice in here, or you could put citrus acid in your container. You want to keep them into the water until it's time for them to go into the pot. Now we're just waiting for this to come to a boil, and it is getting there. And once it comes to a boil, then we're going to let these pears sit in here for 5 minutes. Now, what I like to do is I always set my timer. It just makes life so much easier when you set the timer. You don't have to think about it. You can start cleaning up or whatever. Your timer's set. You're not going to forget about it. And so it just makes life so much easier. So don't forget to set your timer, because you can get busy in the kitchen and say, oh, and here it is bubbling over, or you're doing something else, and now you've overcooked your pears. So we're not doing this to cook the pears. We're actually getting them ready to go into the canner to be canned. We're just getting the syrup ready, and then when these pears goes into this syrup, it will start soaking up that syrup. And these pears, once they ripen up, these pears are really sweet. So it doesn't take a whole lot of sugar. So it's really for your preference of if you want to make it heavy syrup, medium syrup, light syrup, or extra light syrup. All right, come on, let's do this. Let's get this boiling going here. So you can kind of hear the pot. It is fixing to rumble. My jars are ready, and let's see here. I meant to get some pints. Let me just go ahead and grab another jar. Now these jars have been sterilized. They are been washed, they've been sterilized. They're new jars, so they are definitely ready to go. So guys, if you learn anything from this, please subscribe, please share, please like. If you wondering where I've been, my camera had actually broke the lens, and it just wasn't making good quality pictures and videos. So I decided just to wait. And so with this camera I got now, I'm not familiar with it, but with time, we can do all things. So thank you so much for watching again. Okay, so guys, it's getting there to a boil. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more. I want it to go ahead and roll on. So sometimes if you get it, here it goes. So sometimes if you get it boiling, it'll start making a foam. If it does do a foam, what you do is you just take a spoon, a big spoon, and start skimming some of that foam off. Now that it's at a boil, I'm going to put these in this pot, which is actually going to cool this syrup down some. So that's why, in a sense, we want it to stay in here for 5 minutes. The boiling point, you don't want it, you want to keep it stirred. Your water and your sugar, which is syrup, because you don't want it to burn. But the boiling point is to get all that sugar melted and to make syrup. I feel like I'm getting a little tongue twisted here. So I like to put a little bit in at a time. Go ahead and give them a good little stir there. Not only that, it's not cooling the syrup down too quickly because these are in cold water. They've been sitting in cold water, so the pears are cold. That's why it's going to cool this down. Now the quantity. How many pears did I have? Well, actually, I didn't count them. And usually what I do when it comes to my syrup, I just kind of look at the pot. You know, because actually when you put these in here with the water and the sugar, which is making syrup, once you put this in here, the pears in here, it starts extracting some of the juice from the pears. So it actually starts making, you know, more syrup, I guess you could say it like that. It starts making more liquid. And that's why I say if you're going to do another canning, this is my last batch here for today. It's my last of my pears. But if you're going to, you know, be canning, don't throw away your first batch of syrup. Just the pear, you know, maybe you want to go, since this is light, maybe you want to go to medium, add a little bit more sugar. You know, just mess around with it, see what you like the best. Since these pears are already sweet, since they are sweet already, I don't feel like I need a whole lot of sugar. I don't want to be just tasting syrup, you know, sugar. I want to be able to taste the natural flavor of the fruit. So now, since this had came to a boil and we've already got our fruit in here, we're going to go ahead and set the timer for 5 minutes. And believe me, that ping was one of my jars that just came out of the canner, and so it's sealed. Another thing is not to forget, that I do forget sometimes, is that when whether you're pressure canning or you're doing the other canner, the boiling canner, I usually use my pressure canner pot sometimes to do my boiling canner because it's taller and I don't have to worry about it boiling over. But either which way, today we're doing boiling canning. So when you're doing, before you put your jars in there, when you're going to get your water hot and everything, be sure to put a little bit of vinegar. I forget. For some reason, I forget. If I don't go ahead and take it out to begin with, get everything out, I have a tendency to forget. Once I put my canner on the pot, I've put at least 2 tablespoons, just a good dash of vinegar in there. This keeps the film, the minerals from the water from collecting onto the jars. Now, what I do when I do forget it, then I fix a little bath of water in my sink. I have 2 sinks, one's a little one. And I fill it up, the smallest one, with dish detergent and water and put some vinegar in there. And then I take a green Brillo pad, one of these, and I scrub my jars. And it comes off. Now the film I'm talking about, it leaves a film. I can get this one right here. It leaves a film. You probably won't be able to see it. You might be able to see it, but it's got, I wiped some of these jars off, but it's just chalky. You see, it's just got that chalkiness on there. So maybe, there you go. It leaves a chalkiness, and it'll be all over the glass. So with these right here, I'm not washed them yet. They've been done today. Usually you just leave once you take them out of the canner, you just leave them sitting for 24 hours with the rings and lids on, and then the next day wash them off. But I was experimenting, so I took a little rag and I took it and had some little water vinegar on it, not too cold because you don't want your jars to be, just coming out of the canner and doing this because it could crack your jars. But I just experimented and see if I could just take some of that and wipe some of that off, and it did come off. Okay, so now this is boiling, starting to want to boil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this off because I really don't want it to be cooking. And since I did have it a little bit higher for time's sake, we have actually 2 minutes. Anyhow, so this is a flat top stove. Flat tops have a tendency, they cook longer. So that's always something to consider. If I left it on here, it'd still be cooking. So since I've got less than 2 minutes, it's still going to be doing its thing. Now, this this time it did show a little bit of foam on the top of it. And let me get something. If I can find it. I've been in this kitchen all day long. I know I have it. So, we've got 1 minute left. On top of here, it's got some foam. If you want to scoop that foam off right there and put it on a plate, that's fine. Sometimes it happens with jelly. That's just cause the, ding, that's good news. That's just cause the temperature, you know, the fruit and the sugar and all that. Sometimes when I'm making jelly, it will do that. A lot of times I'll just mix it up. And it's not going to hurt anything. But you just skim it off of there like that. And normally, because of time's sake, I would just not had it as the temperature as high. And it probably wouldn't have foamed up as much. And sometimes it doesn't foam up at all. Okay, so that's what we're going to do there. We got 59 seconds. Let's see if I can get off a little bit more. And you know what? I'm just going to dump that down the sink. Put that right there. And we're going to get our jar ready. I'm going to take this jar out. Remember, hot jars, hot liquids, hot lids, everything is hot. So be very cautionary when you're dealing with this because it's very hot. Now usually when I take a jar out, I'll go ahead and put another one in so it can go ahead and get hot. We got 23 seconds. This is my funnel. I'm going to put it on there. I usually use a measuring cup for my juice or my syrup. I'm doing juice, this juice. And then I'll use something like this. It lets it drain through to pick up my fruit or my vegetables. And here goes the timer. So now we're good. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and just fill the jars up. Basic, very simple, great recipe. Now, how long will this pears last? Now they say for 12 months, which is pretty good. Really, you can say probably about 2 years if you want to go specifically. But the old timers, I like to go with the old timers. See, I'm not packing this. I'm just kind of just putting them in there. The old timer says if it looks good, smells good, tastes good, it's good. And I ain't never seen old timer throw away in any of their canning stuff. And I've sat there and said, now, how long has it been in that jar? You know, but it would look good, smell good, and taste good. And it was good. All right, y'all. Try not to get too much in here. You want to get it. I figured I had enough for maybe a jar. And usually with the leftover, you just go ahead and spoon it out, put it in the refrigerator, go ahead and eat it. That would be good. So you want to go to the 1 inch mark, half inch mark. I usually go for that top ring at the very top. It's where the ring, at the bottom of the ring, the lid will go. It's right at the very top. It's too hot to pick up, but right at the very top. You have one of these, you can measure it and it will show you the half inch. The half inch. You don't have to be specifically. So what I'm going to do is take this end of this and just do like that a little bit. That's going to move them around. That's going to give me more room. And I'm going to put some more in there. Okay, just a little bit more. If you get too much, no big deal. Take your spoon and just scoop it out. Okay, just take and scoop it out. Try not to pack it down in there. Because these pears was really, it was ready. So I definitely had to get all this done today. I didn't want to waste my blessing. God sends us blessings. We can't waste the blessings, right? All right, so the next step is just take something other. Whoops. Take something other. It's not going to take much syrup. Take something other and start pouring. Dip your syrup and pour it in there. Now, you have to watch not to go too far out, and you can tell by just looking at it. Now, I'm going to debubble because usually when you put your product in, your fruit, your vegetables, air gets trapped. And just a little bit, and see right there, when I mash it down, I see air bubbles coming up. And what happens is also making room for what I just put in to get get into place and position. So yeah, a lot of air bubbles. So, and then I just do like that. And I usually keep this close by and just lay this on top of it. And that is perfect. So, vinegar, a little napkin. You're going to wipe the top of the the lid, where the ring goes. You just wipe the top of it off. In case there's any sugar or food particles, grease, I always use vinegar because it just cuts through, and I've pretty much had 99% of my rings and lids sealing. So now I got to find my little magnet. What did I do with it? Oh, that's a good question. Well, anyways, I had a little magnet, but I just grabbed one right here. I have a little blue thing that's got a little magnet on the end of it, so I reach down there and you don't get burnt, and it grabs it. And now that we wiped the top of it off, we finger tight, and that's very hot, really hot, and now it is ready to go into the canner. Since this is a quart jar, this will go into the canner, the boiling canner, for 25 minutes. If it's a pint, it will be for 20 minutes. Y'all, thank you so much for watching. I know this has been a long video. I hope that you got something out of it. If you did, give me a thumbs up and share it, and let me go put this thing in the canner, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless you. I love you so much. Thank you for watching.